Admiral Marcus Kane stood on the bridge of the EDS Valiant, watching the massive alien armada approach Earth through the view screen. 2,000 ships, each one the size of a city, their hulls gleaming with the arrogance of species that had never known defeat. The Zethrak Empire had come to claim another world, expecting the same easy victory they had achieved on 47 other planets. "Sir," reported Captain Elena Vasquez from the tactical station, her voice steady despite the impossible odds. "The alien fleet is maintaining standard invasion formation. They're not even bothering with defensive positioning." Marcus smiled, the expression carrying zero warmth and maximum anticipation. "Elena, why would they need defensive positioning? According to their intelligence reports, Earth has maybe 50 operational warships and a population too primitive to mount effective resistance." Lieutenant Commander Sarah Chin looked up from her communications console, her dark eyes sparkling with mischief. "Admiral, the Zethrak Fleet Commander is transmitting surrender demands. Quote, prepare for immediate capitulation or face total annihilation, unquote." "How thoughtful of them to offer terms," Marcus replied with mock gratitude. "Sarah, please respond with humanity's official position on their generous offer." "Which is?" Sarah asked, though her grin suggested she already knew the answer. "Tell them we decline their kind invitation to become extinct. We're rather attached to continued existence." The truth was that humanity had been preparing for this moment for 3 years. Ever since the first Zethrak scout ships had been detected at the edge of the solar system, Earth's greatest minds had been working in absolute secrecy to develop defenses that would turn the expected massacre into something very different. "Admiral," came the voice of Dr. Lisa Park from the science station, "all planetary defense grids are online and synchronized. The orbital platforms are reporting full operational status." "Excellent, Lisa. And our special guests in the asteroid belt. The surprise packages are armed and awaiting your command, sir." Marcus turned to address his bridge crew, men and women who represented the finest of humanity's military tradition. "Today, we're going to teach the Zethrak Empire why it's dangerous to underestimate a species that evolved from persistence hunters. They came here expecting easy prey. They're about to discover that humans make very poor victims. The alien fleet continued its approach, their formation so casual it bordered on insulting. Fleet Admiral Corex of the Zethrak Empire believed this would be another routine conquest, another primitive world added to their collection without meaningful resistance. "Sir," Elena reported, "the lead alien vessels are entering the outer system. Estimated time to Earth orbit. For hours." "For hours," Marcus mused. "Just enough time for them to get comfortable." "Captain Rodriguez, how are our engine modifications performing?" Chief Engineer Tony Rodriguez's voice crackled over the intercom with barely contained excitement. "Admiral, the new propulsion systems are exceeding all expectations. Our ships are now capable of acceleration rates that should be physically impossible." "Should be impossible, Tony?" "Well, sir, they violate several established laws of physics, but they work beautifully." The reality was that humanity had solved faster-than-light travel in a completely different way than any known alien species. While other civilizations use hyperspace tunnels or dimensional folding, human scientists had discovered how to manipulate the fundamental constants of reality within localized space. The result was ships that could accelerate to incredible speeds without the limitations that govern conventional physics. "Admiral Kane," came the transmission from the Zethrak flagship, the voice carrying the typical arrogance of a species that had never encountered serious opposition. "I am Fleet Admiral Corex. Your pathetic world has been selected for integration into the Zethrak Empire. Surrender now, and your deaths will be swift." "Fleet Admiral Corex," Marcus replied pleasantly. "I'm Admiral Marcus Kane of the Earth Defense Forces. Thank you for traveling so far to visit our little planet. I do hope you'll find your stay memorable. Your stay will be permanent. Human, my forces will reduce your cities to ash within hours of achieving orbit. Admiral Corex, I appreciate your confidence, but I think you may have received some outdated intelligence about Earth's capabilities. Perhaps you'd like to revise your tactical assessment." The alien's laughter carried clearly over the communication channel, a sound like grinding metal, that spoke of absolute certainty in his superiority. Human, my fleet has conquered worlds with populations in the billions. Your entire species numbers barely 8 billion primitives armed with chemical explosives and kinetic weapons. Chemical explosives, Lieutenant Chen repeated with amusement. Admiral, should we tell him about the antimatter warheads? Sarah, let's not spoil the surprise. Admiral Corex seems so confident in his intelligence reports. It would be rude to contradict him before he's had a chance to test his theories. What the Zethrak didn't know, what their reconnaissance had failed to detect, was that Earth's defenses operated on principles their technology couldn't identify. Every major city was protected by energy shields that drew power from quantum vacuum fluctuations. Every orbital platform was armed with weapons that converted matter directly into directed energy. Every human warship carried defensive systems that could manipulate the laws of physics within its immediate vicinity. Admiral, Dr. Park reported, I'm detecting energy spikes from the alien fleet. They're charging their primary weapons. Are they indeed? How exciting. Captain Vasquez, please illuminate our response capabilities for Admiral Corex's educational benefit. Elena activated the planetary defense grid, and immediately the space around Earth lit up with energy signatures that made the alien fleet's weapons look like flashlights compared to searchlights. Thousands of orbital platforms revealed themselves, each one radiating power levels that exceeded the Zethrak's theoretical maximums. Impossible, came Corex's voice, now carrying the first note of uncertainty. Those energy readings cannot be accurate. No primitive species possesses weapons of such magnitude. Admiral Corex, Marcus said with exaggerated patience, I think there may have been some confusion in your intelligence gathering. Humans aren't exactly primitive anymore. We've been making some technological improvements. The truth was that humanity had undergone the most rapid technological advancement in galactic history. Faced with the certainty of eventual alien contact, Earth scientists had compressed centuries of normal development into 3 years of desperate innovation. The result was a defense system that incorporated technologies the galaxy had never seen before. Sir, came a new voice from the communication station. We're receiving a priority transmission from Admiral Jessica Torres aboard the EDS Phoenix. The Deep Space Reconnaissance Fleet is requesting permission to engage. Marcus felt his smile widen into something that would have terrified any alien who could see it. Tell Admiral Torres that Operation Homecoming is authorized. It's time for our wandering children to come home. What the Zethrak fleet didn't know was that Earth's primitive space program had been secretly deploying advanced reconnaissance vessels throughout the galaxy for 2 years. Ships equipped with the same impossible technology that now defended the home system. Ships that had been studying alien military capabilities and preparing for exactly this moment. Admiral Kane, Corex transmitted, his voice now carrying definite concern. My sensors are detecting massive hyperspace signatures approaching from multiple vectors. Were those contacts? Oh, those? Marcus replied casually. Those are our children coming home for dinner. We always have a family gathering when guests visit. The hyperspace signatures resolved into something that defied every principle of military tactics the Zethrak had ever learned. 300 human warships dropped out of FTL travel in perfect formation, their combined energy signatures creating sensor readings that looked like small stars had suddenly appeared throughout the solar system. 300 ships, Corex whispered, his voice barely audible over the communication channel. Our intelligence indicated Earth possessed fewer than 50 vessels. Admiral Corex, your intelligence was correct about our official fleet size. What your scouts failed to detect were the ships we've been building in secret facilities throughout human space. Reconnaissance can be so difficult when the species you're studying is more advanced than your detection technology. Captain Vasquez highlighted something on her tactical display that made several bridge officers whistle in appreciation. Admiral, the Phoenix is reporting successful completion of her deep space mission. Admiral Torres sends her compliments and asks if you'd like to see what she brought back from Zethrak space. By all means, Elena. I'm sure Admiral Corex would be interested to see what his homeworld looks like these days. The main view screen shifted to display images transmitted from the Phoenix, showing the Zethrak home system as it currently existed, or rather, as it no longer existed. Where once there had been a thriving star system with billions of inhabitants, there was now only space marked by expanding debris fields. My homeworld, Corex gasped, his voice breaking with shock and disbelief. What have you done to my people? Admiral Corex, came the voice of Admiral Torres from the Phoenix. I'm Admiral Jessica Torres of the Earth Deep Space Fleet. 3 weeks ago, my ships visited your home system. We found it defended by approximately 50,000 military vessels and a population of 12 billion Zethrak civilians. Found it defended, Corex repeated faintly. What do you mean, found it defended? Well, Admiral, your people were very confident in their military superiority. When we appeared in their system, they immediately opened fire on our reconnaissance fleet. They seemed to believe they could destroy human ships with conventional weapons. The implications hit Corex like a physical blow. If human ships had survived concentrated fire from 50,000 Zethrak warships, then the technological gap was even greater than the energy reading suggested. You destroyed my entire civilization, Corex accused, his voice now carrying the weight of species-wide grief. Oh, no, Admiral, Torres replied cheerfully. We didn't destroy anything. Your people destroyed themselves trying to attack ships they couldn't damage. When their weapons proved ineffective, they began using increasingly desperate tactics, including planetary bombardment weapons aimed at our vessels. Unfortunately, those weapons tend to have rather wide areas of effect. Dr. Park activated another display, showing detailed recordings of the battle in Zethrak space. The alien home fleet had indeed opened fire first, pouring everything they had into the human reconnaissance ships. When conventional weapons failed to penetrate human defenses, they resorted to planet killer weapons, trying to eliminate the human vessels, even if it meant sacrificing their own worlds. They fired planet killers at ships in orbit around their own worlds, Lieutenant Chen observed with clinical detachment. The gravitational disruptions alone would have shattered those planets. Desperation makes people do foolish things, Marcus agreed. Admiral Corex, your people chose to destroy their own civilization rather than accept the possibility that humans might be technologically superior. It was a tragic decision, but it was their decision. The silence that followed was profound. Every Zethrak commander in the invasion fleet was processing the same terrible realization. Their home world was gone, their civilization was extinct, and they were facing the species responsible for demonstrating their absolute technological inferiority. What about our colony worlds? Another Zethrak voice asked desperately. What about the other systems under Empire control? Admiral Torres consulted her tactical displays before responding. I'm afraid the news isn't good. When your home fleet began their attack, we were forced to defend ourselves. The engagement escalated rather quickly, and the gravitational weapons your people used had cascading effects throughout your territory. Cascading effects? Corex asked weakly. Admiral, when you destabilize the gravitational constants in one star system, the effects tend to propagate to neighboring systems through hyperspace. Your entire empire experienced what we might call catastrophic stellar reorganization. The technical term didn't disguise the reality. The Zethrak Empire, all 47 conquered worlds and their billions of inhabitants, had been wiped out by their own weapons when they tried to destroy ships they couldn't harm with conventional force. This is impossible, Corex protested. No species possesses defensive technology capable of withstanding concentrated bombardment from 50,000 warships. Admiral Corex, Dr. Park replied with scientific precision, you're still thinking in terms of conventional physics. Human defensive systems don't operate according to the same physical laws that govern your technology. We manipulate the fundamental constants of reality within localized space. Reality manipulation, Corex repeated in disbelief. You're claiming to have achieved technological godhood. Not godhood, Admiral, Marcus corrected gently. Just really, really good engineering. Human science has this inconvenient habit of turning impossible theoretical concepts into practical applications. We find it keeps life interesting. Captain Rodriguez joined the conversation from the engineering section, his voice carrying the pride of someone who had helped build the impossible. Admiral Corex, if it makes you feel any better, your attack on our reconnaissance fleet provided valuable data about the effectiveness of our defensive systems. Your weapons helped us calibrate our shields for optimal performance. Our attack helped you improve your defenses? Corex asked in horror. Oh, yes, Admiral. Human technology learns from every interaction. The more force you applied, the stronger our defenses became. It's a fascinating feedback loop that our scientists are still studying. The concept of adaptive defensive systems that grew stronger under attack was beyond anything the Zethrak had ever encountered. It suggested a level of technological sophistication that made resistance not just futile, but actively counterproductive. Admiral Kane, Corex transmitted, his voice now carrying the weight of absolute defeat. What are your terms for surrender? Marcus paused, considering the question with apparent seriousness. Admiral Corex, I'm afraid you may be misunderstanding our current situation. This is a negotiation between military forces. This is a final encounter between your species and mine. Final encounter? Corex asked nervously. Admiral, your empire declared war on humanity with the explicit goal of exterminating our entire species. You came here expecting to commit genocide. The fact that you're now facing extinction instead doesn't create an opportunity for negotiation. The bridge crew watched as the Zethrak fleet began to realize the true scope of their predicament. They were alone in space, their homeworld destroyed, their empire extinct, facing a species that possessed technology beyond their comprehension. Admiral Kane came a new voice, this one from Captain Maria Santos aboard the EDS Retribution. We're receiving distress signals from the Zethrak vessels. Several ships are reporting critical system failures. System failures, Maria? Sir, it appears that our defensive fields are interfering with their life support systems. The energy patterns we generate are incompatible with their technology. Dr. Park confirmed the report from her science station. Admiral, the quantum resonance from our shields is causing cascade failures in alien systems throughout their fleet. They're experiencing total technological breakdown. How long before their life support fails completely? Marcus asked. Approximately 6 hours, sir. After that, their ships will be uninhabitable. Admiral Corex's voice carried new desperation as he transmitted. Admiral Kane, our ships are dying. Our technology cannot function in proximity to your vessels. We request permission to withdraw to the minimum safe distance. Admiral Corex, Marcus replied thoughtfully, you're welcome to attempt withdrawal. However, I should mention that human ships are now positioned throughout the star system. You may find it difficult to locate a safe distance. The tactical display confirmed the horrifying reality. Human vessels had surrounded the entire Zethrak fleet, their combined defensive fields creating an overlapping network that was systematically destroying alien technology simply by existing in the same space. This is murder, Corex protested weakly. Admiral Corex, Admiral Torres interjected from the Phoenix. Murder is what you plan to do to 8 billion human civilians. What's happening to your fleet is simply the natural consequence of bringing incompatible technology into proximity with superior systems. We surrender, Corex transmitted desperately. The Zethrak Empire formally surrenders to Earth forces. We request mercy. Admiral Corex, Marcus said what sounded like genuine regret. The Zethrak Empire has already surrendered. It surrendered rather dramatically when it destroyed itself trying to attack our reconnaissance ships. You're not representing an empire anymore. You're commanding the last remnants of an extinct civilization. The silence that followed was broken only by the increasing frequency of distress signals from the dying alien ships. One by one, Zethrak vessels were losing power, life support, and the basic systems needed to sustain their crews. Admiral Kane came a weak transmission from one of the smaller Zethrak ships. This is Captain Vex of the destroyer Talon. My crew is dying. Our children, our families, they're all aboard these ships. Please, show mercy to the innocent. Marcus felt a flicker of something that might have been sympathy. Captain Vex, how many innocent humans did your empire kill during your 47 previous conquests? The question hung in the space between the fleets like an accusation. The Zethrak had built their empire on the systematic extermination of other species, showing no mercy to the innocent populations they encountered. That was different, Vex protested. Those species were primitive. They couldn't defend themselves. Captain Vex, Saracen interjected from her communication station. Are you saying that genocide is acceptable when committed against technologically inferior species? No, we were following orders. Empire policy required the complete elimination of potential threats. Complete elimination, Marcus repeated slowly. Captain Vex, I want you to remember those words as you watch your ships die. Your Empire's policy of complete elimination is now being applied to your own people. Dr. Park reported from her station with clinical detachment. Admiral, the alien fleet is experiencing total systemic collapse. 17 ships have lost all power. The remainder have less than 4 hours of life support remaining. 17 ships, Lieutenant Chen noted. Admiral, should we allow those vessels to drift clear of our defensive fields? Marcus considered the question carefully. Sarah, scan those 17 ships. Are they carrying any survivors? The sensor sweep took several minutes to complete, during which the remaining Zethrak vessels continued their desperate attempts to maintain life support against the disruptive effects of human technology. Sir, Sarah reported, the 17 disabled ships are showing no life signs. They appear to be completely empty. Empty ships, Marcus mused. How interesting. Captain Vasquez, what's your assessment of those vessels? Elena consulted her tactical displays before responding. Admiral, the empty ships appear to be automated drones programmed to mimic crude vessels. Decoys designed to make the Zethrak fleet appear larger than it actually was. So the Zethrak brought decoy ships to make their invasion force seem more impressive, Marcus said with amusement. Admiral Corex, will you try to intimidate us with fake warships? Corex's response was barely audible. Standard invasion protocol requires psychological warfare components. The decoys were meant to demoralize your population before the actual attack began. Psychological warfare. Torres laughed from the Phoenix. Admiral Corex, you brought fake ships to frighten a species that manipulates the fundamental constant of reality. Did that seem like a sound tactical decision? The remaining Zethrak ships were now down to fewer than 2 hours of life support, their crews facing the same extinction they had planned to inflict on humanity. The 17 empty decoy vessels drifted through space as monuments to the arrogance that had brought the Zethrak Empire to this point. Admiral Kane, Corex transmitted with his final breath, tell me why. Why did your species become so powerful? What drove you to achieve such impossible technology? Marcus looked around his bridge at the faces of his crew, humans who represented the best of their species. Elena, with her tactical brilliance and unwavering courage. Sarah, whose quick wit and sharp intelligence had helped coordinate their defense. Lisa, whose scientific genius had made their technological revolution possible. Tony, whose engineering skills had turned theoretical impossibilities into practical realities. Admiral Corex, Marcus said quietly, we became powerful because we had to. You and species like you gave us no choice. Every time humanity encountered alien civilizations, we faced the same pattern. Conquest, exploitation, extermination. We learned that the galaxy was full of predators who saw kindness as weakness and mercy as vulnerability. So we stopped being kind. We stopped showing mercy. We became the monsters that the galaxy's behavior demanded we become. The last Zethrak transmission came from Admiral Corex himself, his voice fading as his ship's life support finally failed. We created our own destroyers. Yes, Admiral. Marcus replied to the empty space where the Zethrak fleet had been. You created your own destroyers. And now they're coming for everyone who made the same mistake you did. Captain Vasquez reported from her station with quiet satisfaction. Sir, all alien vessels have been neutralized. The Zethrak invasion fleet has been completely eliminated. 17 empty ships escaped, Sarah noted from communications. Should we retrieve them for study? Leave them, Sarah, Marcus decided. Let them drift through space as a message to any other species that might be considering invasion. Sometimes the most effective deterrent is a monument to failure. Dr. Park looked up from her science station with an expression that mixed professional pride with personal satisfaction. Admiral, the planetary defense grid performed flawlessly. Earth's population never even knew they were under attack. Excellent work, Lisa, make sure all defensive systems remain online. Something tells me the Zethrak won't be the last species to underestimate humanity. As the human fleet began its return to normal operations, Marcus reflected on the irony of their victory. The aliens had come expecting to find a primitive world defended by chemical explosives and kinetic weapons. Instead, they had encountered a species that had transcended the physical limitations governing conventional civilizations. Admiral, Elena asked quietly, "What do we do now?" "The galaxy is going to learn what happened here. Other species will know that Earth is capable of defending itself." Marcus smiled, the expression carrying anticipation for challenges yet to come. "Captain Vasquez, we do what humans have always done when faced with a hostile environment. We adapt, we improve, and we make sure that anyone who threatens our survival learns to regret that decision. And the 17 empty ships? Let them serve as humanity's calling card. Elena, a reminder that species who come to Earth seeking easy prey will find something very different from what they expected." The empty Zethrak vessels drifted away from Earth's gravity well, their automated systems broadcasting a final message on all frequencies, a message that would reach every corner of the galaxy, carrying news of humanity's first offensive victory and serving as a warning to any species that might be considering similar attacks. The age of humanity as galactic prey had ended. The age of humanity as a galactic predator had begun, and 17 empty ships would carry that message to the stars.